Shalom, good Shabbos. I can't figure this tallis out, so I'm just going to try a different one. This tallis should be retired. This little one with the black stripes is a bar mitzvah size, so unless you're 5 feet tall, 4 feet tall. Okay, it's nice to see everybody. Shabbat Shalom. I will not entrance you with any more of my Spanish. I already chased the cantor out of here. But what we have this Shabbat is not one, but two, count them, two separate Torah portions, because there's Matot, Maseh are their names. And Matot means the heads of tribes, and Maseh means we travel. We traveled for 40 years in the wilderness. Okay. And why do we have a double Torah portion? I will tell you. Because it is not a leap year. In Judaism, unlike, well, how much extra time do you get for a leap year in the secular calendar?
1 day.
Yes. Anybody here born February 29th?
Everybody.
Okay. I always feel sorry for those people. I met a gentleman at my last service, John Knox, who was born February 29th, and I said, what do you do? And he said, well, I celebrate either February 28th or March 1st. Okay. Which I think is as good an arrangement as any. In the meantime, we have a strapped together Torah portion, as I like to call it, because this is not a leap year. During a leap year, in which you get an entire month, you get an extra month, you have Adar Rishon and Adar Sheni. First Adar, second Adar. And the names of the Hebrew months, Tishrei, Cheshvan, Kislev, that I had to memorize when I was in the 8th grade because of Rabbi Reifman, they're not Jewish, they're not Hebrew, they're Babylonian. We picked them up when we were in the Babylonian exile. Okay, we don't even know what the names of the months in the Hebrew calendar were, except one. There's one referred to by Solomon, and it slips my mind because I just don't use it. So this Torah report, because it's not a leap year, we take the extra Torah portions and we kind of mush them together. And the Sofrim, the scribes who wrote the Torah, around the same time as the Hanukkah story, 168 BCE, very kindly made these two Torah portions fairly short. They're very short, as a matter of fact. And the contents are, while not being fascinating, they're not narrative, they're legislative, but it's not a terrible thing. Have any of our female members made an oath lately? I don't mean when you dropped an anvil on your toe. Oath? Oath. O-A-T-H.
Swear to God.
I solemnly
cross
swear.
my heart and like all that kind of stuff.
You mean like signed a
Like
paper
Christians?
that you swore?
Well, actually, no. When you
Okay.
were a child, did you swear never to eat taffy?
Oh, yeah.
Or to lay off the chocolate,
Can I
things
just
like
ask you,
that.
in the Hebrew calendar, is there such a thing as a leap year?
Yes, you get a whole extra month. Adar Rishon and Adar Sheni. First Adar, second Adar.
Oh, that's what you were just saying, but I
Yes.
didn't realize that that's what that was. Okay.
Yes, it's okay. That's fine.
Interesting.
Really, it's kind of technical, but thank you for asking. All right. In the first part of this Torah portion, Moses spends an awful lot of time talking about what they call Hatarat Nidarim, or Hatoras Nidorim in the old neighborhood. Annulling vows. If a man makes a vow, hey, that's cool. He's a man. But if a woman makes a vow, if a baby woman makes a vow, if a little girl makes a vow that she's going to lay off the saltwater taffy for the rest of her life, this is clearly a vow which is not practical. It may be good for your dentist, but in a practical sense, you know you're going to hit the saltwater taffy at some point or other. Therefore, her father annuls her vow. You see? Which is either very good or very bad. I don't think it's a nice thing. He's able to annul her vow virtually until she's about 18. The rabbis in the Talmud didn't like that, so they said Papa could annul the vows of a daughter only until the ages of 11 and 12. Okay? Any thoughts?
11 and 12?
11 or 12, depending upon which Talmudic rabbi you speak to. They never agreed on anything.
Just a girl or boys and girls?
Oh, boys.
Boys can make their own.
As we know, Judaism, thank you for a wonderful question. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are boys' clubs made by and for boys. The women are cordially not invited until 1969, when Jewish feminism gets rolling. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So,
girls got bar mitzvah.
what happens when the girl gets married? Because in those days, you could marry a 12-year-old. That is in the Talmud, yes indeed. Let's not go into the icky aspects of that. But rather, once the girl marries, if she has not yet attained her majority after being married, who annuls her vows then?
Her husband.
Yes, the husband. I tell you, it's a tough world for men.
So she's stuck in that marriage. Unless he
Well-
wants out.
Yes, right. Yeah, that's true. That was the situation for centuries, and I'm not happy about it. I'm not in favor of it. Okay? Well, anyway, he talks about the annulment of vows, and why do we get into this stuff? Because what major holiday, for which I have not yet written any sermons, is coming around the corner?
Rosh Hashanah.
Yes, and Yom Kippur. And what is the most important prayer of Erev Yom Kippur?
Kol nidre.
Yes, I'm not going to call Nidre and so on. But that's why we have to be thinking about oaths and that kind of thing. As a matter of fact, if you're a really observant Jew, if you go to court and you have to swear, you're not supposed to swear. You're supposed to say, I solemnly affirm, with your hand on the Hebrew Bible. That's one thing. The second thing is this. If someone agrees to do something which they know clearly is impossible, they say, yes, yes, I promise you, b'li neder, which means without a vow. And that little escape clause will get you out of most things. I don't mean legal obligations, but I mean b'li neder. It's because if you swear for something on something, it could be a kinahara.
So don't Orthodox people, if it's not like a criminal offense where they would have to wind up in our courts,
Yes.
but otherwise, don't they go to a Beit Din with
That's
the
right.
rabbi so that they don't have to put their hands on a thing in a Bible and swear?
Yes, they
Right.
go to a Beit Din, which consists generally of 3 rabbis, or a rabbi and 2 Jews over the age of 13. I use that when I convert somebody. Okay?
Oh, that was us, me and Helen.
Yes, okay, all right. The other thing you should know is, as long as we're talking about rabbinical authority, you should not flaunt rabbinical authority. I don't mean mine. You can only lead people who are willing to be led. Napoleon had a marshal by the name of Marshal Ney, N-E-Y. He was very brave, very courageous, very headstrong, not necessarily the brightest fellow around, but he said, the troops are behind me. What can I do but lead them? So you see, any conscientious rabbi will only direct his flock, if we have those things, to perform what they are capable of doing and, more importantly, willing to do. Okay? Now, what happened back in the good old days, the Middle Ages, if you please, when we were shut into the ghettos, oppressed by the Christian majority, and called all kinds of nasty names. Good old days, yes indeed. Well, the rabbi's word was law in the ghetto back in the Middle Ages. And there is the tale of the Jewish businessman who is dishonest, and he flaunts the authority of the rabbi. And the rabbi insists that the rich businessman come to see him for chastisement and possible remuneration. And the man comes to the rabbi's study, and he says, what do you want? And the rabbi goes, listen, we're a community, you've got to observe the laws of the community, and by the way, clean up your act in the business realm. And the rich man says, I spit on your community. I spit on your authority. And the rabbi goes, you want to see my whip? And the rich man says, I don't care. The rabbi pulls open his top drawer and takes out a whip. But it's not just any whip. It's the primordial snake. It's the serpent from the Garden of Eden. And he lashes out with it, and it wraps itself around the rich man's neck. And he starts to choke. And the rabbi goes, do you accept my authority? He says, yes. He says, then go now. And always fear the rabbi and his whip. I miss those days. I went on Amazon. It's very hard to get the primordial serpent. Okay, he's always with somebody else. Okay, now that's not Satan, by the way. That's just a snake. A snake is a snake is a snake, as Shakespeare tells us, or maybe it was. Okay, well, so after that, what do we have to do? We annul our vows and we go to war. Against whom do we go to war? Against the Midianites. Now I have really mixed feelings about this. Why? Because Moses married a Midianite. Zipporah was a Midianite. His father-in-law, Jethro, who was probably more responsible for Jewish jurisprudence than Moses was, he was a Midianite. He was the high priest of Midian. But now apparently the Midianites have taken it too far because they were urged on by Bilam, that is the fellow with the donkey, according to the Midrash, according to the legends. And Bilam urged them to entice the Israelites at the place of Baal Peor. Apparently in those days, if you were going to be enticed, you had to do it out of doors, and it helped to have a pagan idol in the area. And that's what happens. So now Moses says, that was wrong, we shouldn't have been enticed. They could just say, hey, I'm sorry, let's go about our business. No. Moses says, we will go to war. And he sends them to war. And the Israelites, what a surprise, are triumphant. They murder all the men and all the children, but they spare the lives of the women. Why?
Take them as slaves.
Take them as bed partners. I'm sorry, Arnold, you're a stand-up guy, but in this case, we're trying to accumulate wives. The more wives you have, the greater you can make the tribe. I mean, we're not the biggest tribe around. That's why you've got to have 13 kids. Okay? Not me personally, but I understand
Well, wait a
other
minute. Why
folks.
did they kill the children if they wanted
Is
to?
that weird?
Yeah, that
I
doesn't make
don't
sense.
know. Joel, it doesn't make sense.
Sure,
Okay?
sure
And
it
we'll
does.
talk about the morality of the thing, which seems to have gotten off at the previous stop. Yes?
Because also, if the mother isn't Jewish, the kids aren't really Jewish.
In those days, it was patrilineal. In those days, if Papa was Jewish, that was fine. Okay, and there are instances as well of Jewish women marrying Moabite men. For example, Ruth's her father and her uncle. Okay, Machlon and Chilion. Let's get back to this. Oh my God, that has never happened to me before. That's because of the serpent story. All right. Well, Moses says, how could you do that? How could you spare the women? Go forth now and kill all the women capable of having babies. I'm telling you, this is not my favorite part of the Torah. Arnold?
No, I'm just saying. That's
remarkable.
Really something.
Somebody's got to say, hey, Jews are not supposed to behave this way.
And what about the killing of the children? God was the one who didn't want, because the pagans used to barbecue their kids for Molech and sacrifice
So it's much
children.
better to be killed by an Israelite sword
No,
than
it's not.
barbecued.
That's my point. How could anybody be advocating that?
This is where we walk into, it's Rabbi Michael Lerner from Tikkun magazine, it's Rabbi Rami Shapiro, who used to be in the Miami area. I don't think he's there anymore. Maybe he is. But they say there's a Torah of love and a Torah of hate. And because we are compassionate people, as they say, Rachmanim b'nei Rachmanim, compassionate children of compassionate parents, we have got to decide for ourselves which parts of the Torah we're going to accept and which parts we're not going to accept. Now, Rabbi Shapiro says, if you see that something bad, like, murdering innocents, is in the Torah, God didn't command that. Well, excuse me, I think that. But you know what he uses for proof? This whole thing, for example, with annulling vows, he says, Moses said in the name of God. See, that's the kicker. That gets God off the hook. If Moses teaches in the name of God, it's not God. It's Moses or some environmental issue. And I don't agree. I don't even think it happened. Okay? I'm not going to call this a poetical exaggeration, but I will call it an exaggeration. Okay? It's very sad. Well, let's move on, because you see, at this point, we are preparing for the transition from the wilderness to the promised land. We just have to go over the mighty Jordan, which, as I understand it, the mighty Jordan in many places diminishes to a trickle. So, don't be looking for any roll on, thou deep and dark, Jordan, roll. Instead, what we have here is you've got to get your troops in order to conquer the promised land. Now, Reuven and Gad, that's Gimel Dalet. It's not God, it's Gad. Okay? I think he started out in Boston. Anyway, they're in the cattle business. And when you're in the cattle business, you've got to have lots of land. Give me land, lots of land. Don't fence me in. Well, that's the song that the Reubenites and the Gadites sing to Moses. They say, hey, Rabbi Mo, could you guys go across the Jordan, you conquer the promised land, we'll stay here, we'll be good, and it's really huge. This area, the eastern part, east of the Jordan, and it's very grassy, and we have all those cattle. And the Beyond Burger has not been invented yet, so we're thoroughly carnivorous. Although, quite honestly, our biblical ancestors were a lot less carnivorous than we, even accounting for the Beyond Burgers. Okay, so Moses turns on them with a vengeance. You know, I think ever since God said to him, "That's it, Mo, you're not going into the promised land," he's gotten very testy. You know, I mean, look, he was the most patient of men, the most modest of men, but not now. Moses says, "How can you do such a thing to let your brothers and sisters cross the Jordan and conquer the promised land without your help?" He doesn't say anything about the Reubenites and the Gadites in terms of military prowess, but maybe they have the knack. So the Reubenites and Gadites say, "Hey, whoa, we'll back off. You can... we will come with you, nechaletz. We will be the shock troops." That's how it's translated in the conservative Chumash. "And we will go before you and we will destroy the enemy." But the fact is, that's not how it happened at all. I know you got Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho. We used to sing that in day camp on the bus. Our bus driver was Frank. He was so cool. I don't think he was Jewish. He used to, this is back in the mid-'60s, he used to slick back his hair with Brill cream, and he had his Marlboros in his sleeve, and he would fold it up. And we thought he was the coolest guy on earth. And we were all going to be school bus drivers when we grew up. Because we could see clearly that was the most glamorous job in the world. And the way Frank, you know, that big wheel, the way he... Okay. But anyway, what happens is that the Israelites just go across the... Oh, but they didn't do that. It says in the Tanakh, it says in the Hebrew Bible, they went across, they destroyed the battle of the city of Jericho and the city of Ai. That's my favorite. Where do you live? Ai. Okay. But rather, they filtered across gradually. Okay? And then, of course, the Canaanites woke up one morning, looked out the bedroom window, and saw the Israelites. They said, "Oh my God, the Jews are here. Let's leave." So they all went up to Boynton Beach. So now that's Matot. Masei's travelings. It's just a laundry list of every single place the Israelites camped during the 40-year wilderness sojourn. And we know for a fact that a lot of it is exaggerated because there were instances where they camped, like they camped at Sinai for 2-3 years. That was a great place to be. Maybe they thought God would come back. Didn't happen. Well, why was it necessary to have this laundry list of destinations in the Torah portion of Masei? Because we have so many means of entertainment. I grew up with a television. I think we had 9 channels, okay? It was a little 12-inch Crosley. My father tried to take it apart every weekend, but he couldn't quite put it back together again. So that was our television. We were black and white, year after year after year. Then I went to camp, and of course this was the heyday of, remember, when the bank was glad to have your money, and they gave you really nice interest, and a present.
Right.
That's how my mother got valises. They got a frying pan.
Toaster.
When we came home, you know, your parents definitely had a better time than you in the summer, because you came home in the summer of the mid-'60s, and they had a monster Zenith. Remember Zenith? What happened to Zenith?
That's what I have.
Yeah, with a metal case, and we were finally able to see the NBC Peacock instead of 12 Shades of Grey, all of her glorious spectrum of color. Well, okay. But the Israelites, and now you move forward, how do we entertain ourselves now? We have cable, we have TV by choice. What? Netflix. I have hanging on my belt, as do the men here, and the ladies have them in their purse, an amazing machine which is capable of more computer activities than, remember when we were kids? What was the computer? Univac. IBM, Big Blue. Filled up a whole room bigger than this. And as you probably know, our phones are much more capable than Univac ever was. I think the problem was, at one point, they thought, we're not going to need computers. Again, this was the mid-'60s. And remember those big spools of tape that those machines had? Mm-hmm. We have everything we need. We have all the records we could possibly use. And you know what it is? I think there may be 1 or 2 of those old Univacs left. They should have transferred the data a long time ago. Well, our ancestors had nothing like this. Everything they had in terms of entertainment was telling stories. And we have been telling these stories for 3,500 years. I've told you, I think, about this American Presbyterian minister I was friendly with. American Baptist, excuse me, not Presbyterian. The Presbyterians have less fun than even the Baptists, okay? But anyway, this minister told me, if you ask a Christian minister a theological question, they will give you a theological answer. If you ask a rabbi, she will tell you a story. And that's how it works. We've been telling stories forever. That's why this Torah portion was such a hoot thousands of years ago. Because people would say, oh, I see, we traveled to Yam Suf, to the Sea of Reeds. I remember I had a great-great-great-great-granduncle who was standing up to his knees in the water, and then God split the water. And the more you tell these stories, what happens? It gets more and more exaggerated. Right. Okay. Oh, by the way, I know you've been asking, the daughters of Slavcha do get married, all 5 of them. Do they marry within their tribe? Yes, they do. You had to marry within your tribe. That was the thing to do. They marry within the tribe of Menashe. Excuse me. And in the end, who gets their inheritance? Do they keep it? Husband. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I told you the Israelites. Oh, by the way, aside from murdering innocent people, they get booty. Because I don't mean that kind of booty. I mean booty like you get for winning a battle. Gold and silver particularly. And they take it to Moses, and he says, very good, dip it in the mikvah, dip it in the waters of lustration, again the conservative Chumash, and then it'll be tahor, it'll be pure, and then you give it to Elazar the priest. You know, if you're going to steal things from people, and then give it to the holy man, what tinge does that give them? What did the Kohanim, what did the priests do with the loot? They probably melted it down and used it in the Mishkan. Yeah, but there was later on, not here, at least we don't know, but later on there is corruption in the priesthood. So the king at that time, I'm not sure if it's Hiskiyahu or Yoshia, that is Hezekiah or Josiah, he takes a wooden box, he drills a hole in the top, and when the Israelites come to visit the Holy Temple, he has them put their money in, and that way nobody can futz with it because it's a locked box, from which we get the expression lockbox. Okay? Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. I had a cantor when I got here. Okay? All right. Oh man, all the time. Okay, here we go. We're going to light candles. Joni, would you light candles, please?
Sure.
Maybe because usually the candles are burning by the time I get up to give a spiel.
Oh. You want to hold us up and just...
Do I have
Please rise.
Whoops. What do?
over the crowd.
I have to take it?
No, stand there. And just...
Okay, we wait. Oh. Oh, yes, sure. We wave our hands over the candles, bringing Shabbat. We cover the eyes. Asher Kiddushanu Mitzvotav V'Tzivanu Adonai Amen. Asher Kiddushanu V'Mitzvotav V'Tzivanu V'Tzivanu Lahadlik Ner V'Tzivanu V'Tzivanu Lahadlik Ner V'Tzivanu V'Tzivanu Lahadlik Ner Shel Shabbat. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Turn to the person next to you.
Shabbos. What's your name? Marish. And I'm Doreen.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbat.
Good Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom U'Mevorach. Shabbat Shalom U'Mevorach.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom U'Mevorach. Shabbat Shalom U'Mevorach. Shabbat Shalom U'Mevorach. Shabbat Shalom U'Mevorach. 14. Yedid nefesh om avarachamam bom rod kafam ervetzona yarutz alav emo ayan ishtachaver Page 21. Okay, you follow the tune. Lekadoni Liklakala Pene Shabbat Nekala Shamor Vesachor Belimurecha Ishmiyanu Elam Yuchad Ishmiyanu Elam Yuchad Adonai Echad Shmo Echad Leshem Letiferet Velinei Dilah Lekadoni Likrat Kala Likrat Shabbat Refu'ahShelemah Ki Mekor Abracha Ki Mekor Abracha Merosh Mikedem Nesucha Sof Semer Shabbat Tekilah Lekadoni Likrat Kala Lekadoni 22, the fourth stanza. Please rise, face the doors to which the Sabbath king will enter.
Hoy beshalom bater bara gam besimcha betzala gam besimcha betzala Tochemune asegula boikara lekano dikrat kanan lekadoni dikrat kanan bene Shabbat lekana lekadoni dikrat kanan bene Shabbat
All right, please remain standing. Page 28. We're going to ask Joel and Al to honor us by opening the ark, please.
Yes, please. Arechuet Adonai Yamevorach
Baruch
Baruch Adonai Yavorach Leolam Vaed
All right, we'll close the curtain, leave the doors open, please. You may be seated.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בדברו מרי ורבים בחוכמה פותח שערים ובתבונה משנה עתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו בורא יום ולילה גורר אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו Il Kavegayam, Taminim no Khalil Baed, Baruch Adonai, Amarim, Aramim.
Page 29.
Avat Olam Beit Israel, Al-Kavah, Torah u'mitzvot, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך, לעולם ועד. חיינו ואורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, ובגב נגי יומם, יום בלילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
All right, page 30, we cover the eyes to show God cannot be seen. Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kivod, Malchuto, B'olam Moed. Let's read the English. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. All right, we'll read silently to the end of the tzitzit paragraph on page 31.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohim, Amen.
All right, continuing on 32, the middle of the page. Or we'll just do the Me'ach HaMalchai?
Yeah.
Okay.
יהי כמוך בגדים אדוני, יהי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני משה. Seli anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Yalai la 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 Yalai la la Yalai la 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 Yalai la la Yalai la 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 Yalai la la Yalai la 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 Yalai la la Vene margif Adonai Yaakov וניהלום יד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, על ישראל.
As always, 33 is the paragraph we read that people should have Refu'ahShelemah. I am told that our dear friend Laura Durant will be going in for her procedure a week from today, so we do pray for her Refu'ahShelemah, and you know, to know Laura is to love Laura, so I can leave it at that. All right, we'll go around and folks can mention names of people they know who need
Jim Patterson
Refu'ahShelemah.
and Andrea Long.
Refu'ahShelemah.
Howard Elachman,
Refu'ahShelemah.
Serafina Klein.
Refu'ahShelemah.
Gerald Black.
Refu'ahShelemah. Okay, no? Okay.
Michelle J. Gomez
Refu'ahShelemah.
and Diana Nix.
Refu'ahShelemah. Yes.
Ruth Robinson.
Refu'ahShelemah. Okay. Yes.
Adele Greenblatt,
Refu'ahShelemah.
Joel Shankman,
Refu'ahShelemah.
Stuart Epstein,
Refu'ahShelemah. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Stanley Kahn.
Refu'ahShelemah.
Esther Newhouse.
Refu'ahShelemah.
Bruce Martin,
Refu'ahShelemah.
Heidi Dennis,
Refu'ahShelemah.
Kenny Mahadeo,
Refu'ahShelemah.
and Lillian David.
Refu'ahShelemah. Yes. Okay, good, thank God. I, of course, in your name want to pray for the health and safety of our troops protecting our country all over the world. And of course, we never forget the state of Israel, Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Ge'ulatenu, the beginnings of our redemption. So, and may I be the first to wish you a happy and a healthy new year. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Page 34. Unless we're doing 33. I think we're doing 33. I do 33. Please stand by. V'shvar tzeitzenu aveinu l'chaim l'shalom, ha'tav yad olam, u'froz aleinu zakat shlomecha, baruch atah Adonai, Aparei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Amo Yisrael V'al Yerushalayim V'al Kol Haolam Kulo. Amen. 34.
So there is a very nice Veshamru from David Friedman, Zichronari Bracha. David Friedman, a cantor of the Reform movement, but her songs, they went all around, yeah? So she wrote many songs that we sing and we love. And the Veshamru is a very nice composition.
Top of 34.
Veshamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, ועלמא דיברה כאילו וימליך מלכותי, וחיי חלום ימי חול, וחיי לכל בית ישראל. ועגלה ובזמן קריב בקרוב יש מרבה מבורך לעולם ולמעיין יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתגלל שמי קודשי לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה צור שמחתה ונחמתה תמירה בעלמא וירום אמן.
35b to page 38, you have the Amidah, the standing silent prayer, after which you may be seated. 38.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasinim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasinim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasinim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Page 48.
הנה הדבר השם הרבה.
48.
וארבע דיבר הכתוב וימליק מלכותו וקי יכולו ויום יכולו וקי יכולו את ישראל. בעלה ושמון גרי ואימדרו. ירש וירבה מבורך. לעולם ירבה המייג. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרום ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל לשם קודשה. לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה ושמחתה ולחימתה בימי ואימדרו. תתגבר אצל הדורות עד לכל ישראל, קו עמוד ושמיה וגימדרו. יגי שלמה רבה משמיה וחיים עלינו על כל ישראל וגימדרו. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל וגימרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל וגימרו אמן.
What?
Okay, we're going to do
Kiddush.
Kiddush.
Wine, white cup. Wine
Baruch
is in the printed cup.
Adonai.
Juice, white cups. Last week we had yellow cups.
Eloheinu melech haolam. Borei peni agafei. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher קידשנו במצוותיו ברצה בנו בשבת כל שוב באהבה וברצון הנחלנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי גוים תהילה למקראי קודש זכר יציאת מצרים באנו בחרת ידענו קידשת מכל העמים ושמעת כל אשרך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש
Chaim, the Sholom of Simchas.
Here's one more. Thank you.
All right, 51 is the Aleinu. And let's get Jason up here to open the ark, accompanied by his other one.
Not coming? You abandoned me?
And his other one.
עלינו לשבח לעשות הכל, לתת גדולה ויוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כאויי הרצון, ולא שמנו למשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, ויאור עלינו. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שבנות השמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומשה יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, ושכינתו זו, בגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אלוהינו, אפס מלכנו, אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום השבות בלבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ ועל הארץ, וידרק עלינו מאוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני ומלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Okay, thank you. Oh, yes, that's fine. If you're not saying Mourner's Kaddish, you may be seated. Page 52. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Yalmad yivrach v'ruteh v'yamlich v'achateh. V'chayechon v'mechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. V'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach v'yolam u'le'maya. Yitborach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalol shemei dekudesha b'richu.
Richu.
Li'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Ta'amiran v'yalma v'yimru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav v'yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen.
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 All right, before the cantor leads us in the Adon Olam 154, a few words from our dear president.
Good Shabbos, everyone. So wonderful to see old friends here. Wonderful. And I know.
Oh,
I know
okay.
already. I'm
All right,
saying
all right.
hello to everyone at home, to our dear Laura, to Malcolm, to Margaret, hello, and to everyone, and Howard Ehrlichman and Roseanne. To everyone at home who's watching, who I've never met before, I hope that you will come in and share Shabbat with us anytime you want. We're here waiting for you with open arms. Tomorrow after services, Rabbi's going to have his class.
Yes, we're continuing the modern philosophers, Hannah Arendt, who's really very deep, and also Noam Chomsky, who I personally don't like, but he is important.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Does he like you?
I think he's gone.
Oh, he's gone. Okay.
He would if he
All right,
wasn't.
all right. It sounds like he might have left some good things behind, though.
Okay.
Maybe. Let's find out tomorrow. Come tomorrow to Rabbi's class. We are so lucky. Rabbi's classes and now Cantor Javier's classes are not only informative, but they're a lot of fun. Rabbi's class tomorrow after services, on Wednesday at 4:30 with the adult Hebrew class, and at 7 o'clock with current events. And yesterday we had Cantor Javier's first Spanish and chips class, and we had a ball. It was wonderful. Thank you, Cantor. We can't wait to go to see you next week on Thursday. A light Latin-inspired lunch is included, and already next week I know we're having arroz con pollo. So Cantor doesn't allow us to speak English in our class, so I got down chicken and rice pretty good. Please check your bulletins. I want to tell you that I'm already getting calls in the office for high holiday seats. I am booking your regular seats if you don't call me. If you were happy with your seats last year, they're already on the chart. We're getting a lot of calls. So if you need any changes, please do call. I'm in the office on Mondays and Thursdays. Anna is there Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're looking forward to having the most beautiful high holiday services of our history. And last year's was gorgeous, and this year is going to be even more so. On September 12th, Anna is doing a challah baking class, and please come. It's going to be wonderful. It's a Thursday at 1 o'clock, and Slichot is already planned. The flyers are in the hallway. You'll be getting a flyer, each of you, mailed out in our first high holiday package, which is going to go out on no later than the 12th. But Slichot is a beautiful service when we change the mantles. We're going to have a movie, and I have to thank our wonderful Sherry Field Almares, who has given Temple Shalom a gift so that we could buy our own projector and screen. And now we can not only do our Slichot movies without begging for a projector, but we can have a Jewish film festival. One of Annette Finger's events for her Holocaust Foundation is going to be a film. The first one is going to be on the righteous Gentiles. In an age of monsters, we had angels who helped and saved. So that's going to be the first one. That's going to be on Sunday, December 8th. I'm going to tell you only about two more events, and they're community events. The first one is on December 5th for the Jafco children, our Jafco children who need us. We're going to be doing a giving tree or giving menorah event where we're going to be collecting Hanukkah presents for our children who are having a hard time, and it's a wonderful way. If we don't have little ones at home anymore, we can give to little ones. So on our Hanukkah tree or our big menorah, we're not sure which we're going to use, we're going to be hanging paper dreidels. And you'll have pink ones and you'll have blue ones. We're waiting for a list from Jafco about what age children they need gifts for. And you can pick a little girl of 4, a little boy of 6, a young woman of 13, a young man of 14. All the ages will be there, and it's going to be a wonderful event. As well, another community project is going to be on January 5th. We at Temple Shalom are hosting the food drive for the Cupboard. Now, the Cupboard is an organization that brings food, donated food, to needy Jewish families. Last year, that event was hosted at another temple out west, and 2 of our wonderful ladies went out to experience that and to help. And this year, we have been selected to host that event here. So Federation will be working with us both on the JAFCO project and on the Cupboard project. There are many more entertaining events in between. Please check your bulletin, check the website, which is absolutely fantastic.
One more thing, it's not on the bulletin. Wednesday, August 7th at 1:30, we have the digital, how to use your iPad, iPhone,
Right.
social media class.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's a social media class on August 7th at 1:30, how to use your iPhone. I'm too embarrassed to come because I have a flip phone, but everybody else, I'm gonna come because I'm planning to get one. I really am. I promise.
Next
I
one,
will.
next one.
It's like driving the Subaru.
Love to everyone at home and a very sweet Shabbos.
Thank you, Rita. Don't
We're
kiss up to her.
so lucky to have Rita as our president.
Yeah.
She's hardworking, she's got a big heart, and really she's accomplished so many things for this shul. So we're very happy. Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
Behind every great woman, there is a great man.
I heard the other way.
Where is he? Yes, Paul.
You didn't say that in Spanish.
No, not in español. But next time, we are going to work on something in Spanish on your speech.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Muy bien. 54, página 54.
54.
Adonolam. In Spanish is also Adonolam.
I like those kind of words.
Adonolam, Hashem Allah. V'terem kol yisrael, li'et nasa, li'et sokol, azay levet shelo nifra, v'yacharek, li'rot chakol, v'va'ato li'mot nora, v'hu haya, v'hu omer, v'hu niyeh, v'tifara, v'hu echad v'yesheni, le'am shelo v'hafira, v'li'reshi, v'li'takri, v'lo ma'oz, v'ha'mistra, v'hu eli, v'ha'eko ali, v'hu zedli, v'ha'zara, v'hu nishri, v'hu nasli, v'not kozi, v'zion mekra,
Maestro del Mundo?
Llévale queja, Adonai, veishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yael Adonai paramelecha veichunecha.
Lord, make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Isa Adonai paramelecha veyasem lecha. Shalom.
The Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
What happened to Donna?
Oh, yeah, right.
You
I
ready?
need
Yeah, when it's done, hit finish.
What? Wait a minute. I can't see. Just finish.